Alzheimer's, how to plan for this, I want to tell the story of Sylvia Gilfix. And Sylvia was my grandmother. She came from the former Soviet Union through Canada and then settled. We're not really sure why they chose this, in a small town in northern Michigan called East Tawas. And that's where my dad was born and raised, along with my uncle Gil. And Sylvia was a beautiful, intelligent, wonderful, vivacious woman. This is her in her younger years. You can see where my sisters get their good looks. And she was just amazing. And I got to know her as obviously a little kid. She was the most incredible, doting grandmother anybody could have. On the right, you see my mom and Grandma Sylvia, and my sister Sean on the left. That's me in the plaid shirt and the goofy grin. And Grandma Sylvia is the super tanned one in the top right. And she was always very tanned, always very active and physical. And I remember growing up every Sunday. It was a wonderful tradition. I recommend this for anybody, by the way. If you want to catch your kids with their grandparents, make it a treat every time. Maybe you guys do this. But my parents, thank you, Dad, and my mom, Myra Gerson Gilfix, made it so easy to see her. They made it so it was a joy to see her. We'd go to her house. She lived in Cupertino, and we would watch Fraggle Rock. She had HBO. We didn't have cable TV. I wasn't allowed to have cable TV. We'd watch Fraggle Rock on TV when we were there. We'd get to eat SpaghettiOs and other sweets and junk food. And it was always such a joy to spend time with her. It was a treat. But I remember over the years, as I got older, she started to slip a little bit. Her memory started to go. She was working at a local drugstore, and she was having issues there. She really wasn't safe driving anymore. And I was just a kid. I didn't really know everything that was going on. But over time, she got worse. And she couldn't live by herself anymore. And my parents helped her to move into more of a supportive community where she still lived on her own. And I remember that because instead of having Chef Boyardee SpaghettiOs, we shifted to Little Caesars Pizza. That's what we would always get when we went there. And I always looked forward to it. We'd watch TV with her, we'd hang out. But over the years and months and years, her memory continued to slip, and to the point where she started to forget more and more. And I don't remember all of the steps involved, but I do know that eventually she had to go to a nursing home, and she ended up in the Jewish home in San Francisco. And that was rough. And I remember when she first moved there, all of a sudden, those visits that used to be so joyful and so full of treats and wonders were no longer so much fun. We were in these dank halls. I mean, it's a great place, but it was a nursing home with a lot of issues. You had a lot of people with mental illness issues. There was chain smokers ever. So instead of smelling like candy and Chef Boyardee, it smelled kind of more like urine and cigarettes. Not exactly the best transition. And it just got harder and harder from there. At first, she still recognized us, but it got tougher and tougher. And I'm just going to share the photo of her again, because it's nice to remember when she was younger. And I remember towards the end, she no longer remembered us. She didn't know us. And the very end, she was actually hostile to us. She didn't recognize us, and she didn't even want to see us. And that was really hard. So I think many of you can relate. If you've had a loved one who faced Alzheimer's or dementia, it feels like you lose them before you actually lose them. And our family was well prepared for this, right? My parents are the godfather and the godmother of the field of elder law. And it was a huge challenge for them, even though my dad, as he'll talk about, has a long history with the Alzheimer's Association, my mom as well. It was still a huge challenge for them to navigate this. So we can only imagine what it's like for most American families who don't have that experience. So that's what this is about. If you face this, if you have a Grandma Sylvia in your life, you need to understand these issues. And we were fortunate that we understood the issues. It was still so hard. Talk to us. I know that this is what we do. You need to work with experts to sort through this. And there's no one size fits all situation, but we can walk you through it step by step. And we can make sure your plan is updated properly. Because if it isn't updated, it hasn't been updated for a while, this might be our last chance. You might lose the opportunity to update it forever if you don't come in and get that done, get that help, and talk to the Alzheimer's Association. Claire and her team are amazing. That 24/7 helpline available at alz.org. Another wonderful resource. Easy to find us. We're at gilfix.com. You can easily set a planning meeting with us if you'd like to discuss this. Call us 650-493-8070. I think we have a different number on our website that also works, gilfix.com, and subscribe to our YouTube channel if you found this helpful and want to share this with someone in your family who needs to hear this.